So the next exploration that I and my Claude did is on some of the core building blocks of knowledge catalog, how we create those building blocks to capture the metadata of data assets. So for the in the past 2 days, I read through a lot of this documentation, and and Claude, we went back and forth through Claude skill. I wrote that skill based on my reading. I enhanced that skill so that Claude can assimilate that knowledge that from these different documents in a structured format which is easier to consume. So what you are seeing is that is the output of, I would say, 6 to 8 hours of work where I read through the documents, wrote a Claude skill, and told it how to present the knowledge that I gathered in a more structured way for easy consumption. So coming back to knowledge catalog now. So knowledge catalog is a managed service that automates inventorization of data and AI assets and also enables discoverability of those assets. We'll see a hands-on how it does that. But before that, let's understand some of the key building blocks of knowledge catalog that helps to capture the metadata of these data and AI assets. The first one is an entry group. Think about entry group as a container that groups the related entries together, right? So when I say related entries, it can be a BigQuery table or a set of BigQuery tables with its um, IAM access rules, project attribution, location. I can group those entries into an entry group modeled across, let's say, a particular domain. For example, if it is a finance domain, I can have a entry group called finance data, and all the data assets, group all the finance teams tables and the data assets under that entry group. Next, entry. Entry is a an instance of a data asset that I include in the entry group, right? It can be a BigQuery table, it can be a storage bucket, right? And each entry has a entry type, which we'll talk about soon, and it carries aspects. Aspects is the next one, right? Aspects are kind of additional metadata that we attach with the entry. So for example, if customer order customer order is an entry which represents the BigQuery table which is under dataset sales and underscore data dot customer orders, represents the customer order entry represents this entry. I put it under entry group, and this entry I further enrich it with metadata, which is that metadata is called the aspect, right? It's a set of metadata fields attached to an entry, right? What are those metadata fields? For example, here I have shown owner name, email, Tim. This can be 3 aspects that I attach to the entry. I have a, like, how do I attach it? I can group this attributes also into a schema, name it owner info, which becomes the aspect type, So aspect type is a reusable JSON schema that defines the structure of an aspect, right? For example, if this aspect, as part of an aspect, I want to store the owner info aspect or owner info aspect type, within owner info aspect type, I'll have owner name, email, and Tim as 3 different aspects grouped under aspect type. The next one is entry type. Each entry, I'm also defining in the catalog what is the type of that entry. Is it an operational data store? Is it an analytical data store? Is it a messaging type of persistent um, data asset, right? I can create my entry types and attach that as an attribute to the entry. Next is the entry link, which is very interesting. Entry link helps to relate two entries together. So, for example, if customer order and quarterly revenue are related together, let's say the orders feed into the revenue reports, I can use the entry link to connect them together, saying that customer order has a related entry called quarterly revenue. It I can also like relate synonyms, relations, directional relations, or undirected relations, right? I can define through entry link, right? So with this, now let's jump on to the hands-on part of it that will give us more clarity on this building blocks in knowledge catalog, right? We'll start with aspect type, right? Now aspect type, I said it's a it's a JSON schema that defines a set of aspects together. So before I create the aspect type using gcloud, and I'll explain this shortly, first we'll talk about this owner info template.json, right? This is my aspect type, right? And how do I define it is, if you see owner info template.json, right? I said this is a type record, and the record fields are owner name. Its data type is string, right? It displays the owner name, full name of the data assets owner name, and I can say required true, right? So if tomorrow if somebody wants to add a entry with this aspect type, if this aspect is not there, it will it will fail it. So that's how you enforce governance to the metadata, right? So I have done the name, email, required true, then the other types, record field types, like what team is, data engineering, right? The team also, I'm saying these are the four names that you can use. You cannot use any other names other than this, right? So this becomes my aspect type, right? Which now I'll create um, the owner info um, aspect, right? Aspect type. I'll create the owner info aspect type now with this JSON, right? So I'm saying gcloud dataplex aspect types create owner info, giving the project ID, location, display name, what is the description, and the aspect type that I captured in this JSON, right? So let me run this first. So it is executing, right? So it has created the aspect type, and after creating all those things, right, we'll go to the knowledge catalog portal, and we'll see um, how it looks like, right? Next, I will go back here. We will create an aspect type for data quality, um, right? What the data quality is, this aspect type where I have the quality score, what should be the data type of the quality score, when it was last validated, right? Null percentage is certified. These are the aspects within the aspect type. So we'll create this as well. So to create this, I will run the same create data quality aspect type, but this time the JSON is for the data quality JSON, right? So let me run this. So what I did is I defined two aspect types. I created two aspect types in the knowledge catalog, and we are here to go back to the knowledge catalog and see how they show up, right? I will not verify this right now. I can actually see if they are, in fact, I can, let me do this. Like if I do a list, I should be able to see those aspect types created, right? So it came back with both the aspect types, right? Now, next we'll create a entry type, right? So entry type, if you remember, like for each entry, we'll have an entry type and entries go into entry groups, right? So we are creating an entry type for operational tables. So tomorrow any entry which is a operational table will be tagged with this entry type, right? So here I'm telling what the display name for the entry type would be, what the description would be, right? And this entry type should always be, the required aspect is the owner info. It must always have the owner info as the aspect type. If somebody wants to um, load a operational table entry without the owner info, the system will fail it, right? Platform is GCP, system is BigQuery, right? So let me create this entry type. So I'm creating an entry type operational table with the aspect type owner info. So this is one entry type. The other entry type is for external database, right? I'll create another entry type external database, or right, another entry type external database, but this time this needs to have two aspect types, which is the owner info and the data quality, right? Let me go ahead and create this. So what we did so far is we created two aspect types, two entry types. One entry type we connected with one owner info aspect type. The other entry type, which is this external database, we connected it to two aspect types, right? I'll skip the entry types verification. It's just listing it. It actually works. It will list it. Now we'll create the entry group, right? We'll create two entry groups. One is finance data assets, right? Will all the financial data assets owned by the finance team will be under the finance data entry group, right? So let me create this entry group first. While it is getting created, we'll create another entry group where we'll have which will catalog entries for databases and systems outside of GCP, let's say. That is another entry group, right? Just to rephrase what, restate what we learned so far, right? We have aspect types. We connected the aspect types with entry type. Now we are creating entry group, right? We are creating two entry groups. One is for finance data assets, one is for external data sources, right? I can set IAM. I will skip this. I can give a catalog viewer access to this role access to the finance data um, entry group to a set of role, or a member, and let's say view access to another one, right? I'll not do this because I don't have this member for the demo for me, right? I'll skip the list and verify also, but now I will create some custom entries, right? What the custom, okay, so before we create the custom entry, let's go to knowledge catalog and see what it has created. So this is knowledge catalog. If I go to metadata type, I should see now that the two aspect types that we have created, owner information and data quality metrics, these are already there. These are the attributes, right? Owner name, email address, team, right? It got created here. Then under entry types, we have two entry types, right? One we created for operational table. Operational table has the required aspect types as owner information, right? If I click on owner information, I can see this, right? So I have, and the data quality metrics has two aspect types, right? There were, if I go back here, data quality metrics, okay, sorry, in the entry types, the external database was connected to both the aspect types, right? Owner information entry types, right? And entry groups, we created a financial data asset entry group and an external data source entry group. Finance data assets has a, it is putting the entry group also here, but now when we create the entries, it will come under the entry within the entry group, right? So that is what we are doing next, right? So let me go back. Let me go back to the, yeah. So here we'll create an operational table entry under the, okay, so this is a customer, so the customer order table, right? I will create under the entry group finance data, right? And the aspect that I have is the owner info aspect, right? Which has that. So this is where now I am. So if I miss any of these things, it will fail it, right? While creating the entry, since I said owner name should be required, right? Aspect type would be required. When I create the entry, I'm creating the entry for the customer order table under the finance data entry group, ensuring that I am adding the value of those aspect now. Owner name Ellis Johnson, email ellis.johnson@company.com, team is data engineering, right? So let me copy this and we will run this. Once I run this, we will go back to knowledge catalog, and now if I refresh it within that entry group, I can see customer order has come, right? We'll again come back from the main thing. So entry group, sorry, metadata types, right? Entry groups, within the entry group, financial data asset, we just added the entry customer order. If I click on customer order now, you will see it has attached that aspect. Aspect is attached, right? And this is my customer order entry within the entry group. Let me go back and create another entry with multiple aspect. This time I'm creating the quarterly revenue table entry in the uh, finance data entry group, but I'm attaching two aspects. One is the owner info, other one is the data quality. These two aspects I already created. Now I am attaching them as part of the entry, right? So let me copy, run it. If I go back now to the knowledge catalog, go to the entry group, finance data assets, I should be able to see the quarterly revenue also with two aspects now. One is the owner info, right? Other one is the uh, data quality metrics. Uh, like these are the two aspects, right? So we created the entries, right? Now we'll create another entry under the external database entry group, under the external sources entry group. This time it is a legacy inventory database, which is a non-GCP data store, and the aspect I'll give it both the owner info and the data quality aspect, right? So let me run this. Once I run this, if I go back to my knowledge catalog, the metadata type, under entry group, under external data source, I should be able to see the legacy inventory database entry that I created with the two aspect types, right? So I have now created the entries, sorry, not this one, this one. I can, if I want, I can update in entries aspects, which I'll skip for now, but this is patch, right? This is how you update the aspect type. If you want to list your entries, you can list with this commands, right? What we'll do now is a search and discovery, right? I can do the search and discovery through these commands, but I will see you a very cool feature in knowledge catalog, although I think it probably will evolve to be more mature. So now if I go to knowledge catalog, go to my search, and I'll say show the resources for customer order, right? This is a natural language query. See, it brought me the customer order um, entity, right? And if I say show me the resources for legacy external database, right, it bring me the legacy inventory database here, right? So knowledge catalog expose a say semantic search of the entries that we made into the entry groups, right? One more thing we'll see, which is uh, entry links. Entry links. So entry link is where I can link to entities. So here, if you see, my source entry is the customer order, the target entry is quarterly revenue, and through the entry links, the finance data entry links API, I am linking the source entry, which is the customer orders, to the target entry, which is the quarterly revenue, through the, and I'm saying the entry link type is related, that means these two are related, right? I will now create a relation between customer order and quarterly revenue. Once I run it, so I have not seen in the console a way to see this, but I'll show you how, now when I in the knowledge catalog search, when I say show me the resources and the related resources for customer order, it will list both the customer order and the quarterly revenue. But let me first copy this, run it in my terminal. It has been created, the relation between these two has been created. Now if I go back to my knowledge catalog and I say show the resources and show the, I'll say show me all the resources including related resources for customer order, it brings me both customer and finance data asset, all right, because I have related them together. uh, One thing though, if I, what I saw is, and this is where I said I think this semantic search is not mature. Instead of show me, if I say what are all the resources including related resources for customer order, this actually returns me only the customer orders. So that's why I think that the semantic search, I don't know how the semantic search works. It's a managed service, so I could not explore that, but looks like there is a room for the semantic search to evolve. Now this is a powerful feature. Been, why this is a powerful feature is, now if I want to use a language model to generate a SQL, right, I can first search in the knowledge catalog to get the related data assets, their schema details, and I can give that as a context to the language model to create the SQL, to go to BigQuery or wherever that data asset is, to fetch me the data, right? And that's how I think it will evolve too. But this is all I wanted to show you as part of this exploration. Thank you.